Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to start down a journey of talking about square roots or roots in general. We're not going to go too far past square roots this year. We'll kind of mention them here and there. You might be asked to calculate them and think about them just to get an idea if you've got the idea of what a root is. So we'll talk about more explicitly in class what a root is, but what we need to remember is root is asking what number times itself equals the square root that we're asking for. In other words, find two square roots of 49. Now, square root has a symbol that looks like this. It's just as if we said multiply and we wrote X, or sorry, multiply and we did parentheses. Divide and we do a fraction bar or division sign. Add, subtract. This is just the symbol we use for square roots. So I'm going to kind of box that in so you know that's what's grouped together. There's a little kind of check mark here, then it's got a top hat. That's how I like to think of it. Now, this is the number that goes inside. So what this question is asking is, what number times itself? Not a factor tree. Not what are all the factors of a number, just what are the numbers times itself to equal this? Now we're going to start off simply, but it does get to where you're going to be looking at fractions and or decimals, usually decimals, just to make you feel a little bit more comfortable. We are going to usually look at decimals as you get into higher math, not fractions. But decimals could be because 2.3 times 2.3 has an answer, and that answer has the square root of 2.3. But there's a little trick to this too. Notice how it says we have two square roots. This is very important. We'll go over that here. So normally what we do is it would look like this. Find the square root. Eventually you'll get where it doesn't write it out like this. It just writes it like this. This statement or this sentence is the same thing as the square root of 49 or this. These two are the same. Normally it looks like this. So you can look at it like a factor tree and you can sit there and say, I'm looking for two numbers that are exactly the same. And in this case, I just look or think back to my multiplication tables, and I know 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, 6 times 6, 7 times 7. Oh, 7 times 7 is 49. So this is 7 and 7. These two numbers are the same. So the one of the answers to the square root of 49 is 7. The problem is we know there's got to be 2. Here's why. 7 times 7 equals 49. But equally true is the same 7 and 7, but negative. Because a negative times a negative is a positive, and 7 times 7 is 49, and this is a positive 49. So in reality, there's two ways we can write this. We usually write negatives first because it goes in order on a number line. So negative 7 and 7 are both an answer. Now here's the way that I like writing it, okay? We can do plus or minus. That means positive or negative. Both are correct. We can use either one. And this is another way we could answer it. Now how the website's going to want you, it's probably going to list it like this. It might let you do this. I don't know. You're going to have to kind of experiment with that website. But both of these are very valid and the correct answer, that negative 7 and 7. And we have two answers. Notice that. We have two answers. We'll talk about later when we're going to use positive and when we can leave out the negative, or when we might need the negative, or when we might need both. We'll be talking about that later in class. So if you have questions over that, we will get to them. But right now, just know that the square root of a number actually has two answers. You're looking for the number that's multiplied by itself, and it's the positive and negative form of that number. If you have any questions, make sure you're emailing those to me. Stay safe out there, guys, and we'll see you next class.